Hello Libra, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of December 7th through the 13th. During that time, we will have a waning gibbous moon. And a waning gibbous is a really good time for self-reflection and rebirth. Good time for us to make positive changes and get rid of bad habits and negative thinking. We then have the last quarter moon that comes in on the 13th. And that is a really good time for reflection and releasing what no longer serves us. Really just taking responsibility for our past actions in this past cycle and getting ready to kind of make the decisions on what we will change when the new cycle begins on the new moon. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Libra. So as always, please take what resonates today and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading: a time to give rather than take. All right, let's see what the Libra Collective has going on for the week. As I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder this week is that you take some time to meditate. So if meditation is not already a part of your routine, try to give that a shot this week. You know, even if it's just take a little time for yourself, quiet your body, your mind, and just go in and just see what you find in there. Try to quiet your mind today. So again, even if it's just a few minutes, I know I really have to concentrate to settle my mind down to to meditate and just to be still for that long. I just tend to be kind of hyper. So if that's you, just relax yourself, just kind of set aside that time and say, this is the time for meditation. And you know, there's some guided meditations on YouTube if you need some help. That might help. Put some headphones on. It just kind of cancels the noise outside, and there's a voice there to kind of help you go through that. So anyway, that's my fun weekly reminder. So let's get into this reading, Libra, for December 7th through the 13th, a time to give rather than take. Your present energy right now is thinking about the future here as you move towards it in nice, calm waters with the Six of Swords. So, you know, swords are air energy, so you're definitely thinking about and maybe even speaking about some future plans, things moving forward. Um, you know, but just kind of, you know, making those plans and moving forward, actually. So it might be things that you've thought about in the past and things you're just kind of starting to take shape, but definitely moving forward in a very calm manner in that way. Your current situation is the Eight of Swords. So there's in some way that maybe you're feeling stuck. Maybe you were moving forward and like I said, in nice calm waters, and all of a sudden, you know, there's just an obstacle in front of you. So whatever that obstacle might be for you this week, all you have to do is just think your way out of it. So no obstacle's too big. But it looks like there is some sort of obstacle to maybe a plan that you would put into place. And all you have to do really is to think your way out of it. And you can do that. That's fine. That may come up for you this week. At the root of this situation is the sun. So, you know, this is moving towards your ultimate happiness in some of these plans that you've made. And there's some obstacle there. And what are obstacles? They're just learning curves, right? So it's something that's placed in front of you so that you can learn a lesson. You know, those you might have to, some people have to learn things over and over and over. Maybe you learn it the first time, you know, maybe you get the big version of it and maybe a lesser version as kind of a little test later down the road. But again, just get through that obstacle and realize that you can think your way through anything. In your recent past is also you thinking about moving towards the future. And this is because, you know, with the Eight of Cups here, you feel like you have this support again with the calm water. I mean, I feel like it's just a really good time for you, a really calm time, and a time for you to think about these things in the future. You've got some emotional support here at your back as you're moving ahead. So again, that obstacle is there. You know, look at all of these people with their backs, you know, facing towards us. And what is the sun doing? Looking right at you. You know, what are you going to do for your ultimate happiness? Here you're blindfolded. You know, you have to, you know, really go within to think about how to solve this little obstacle that's popping up in front of you. Excuse me, let me grab a drink here. Excuse me. Also, it might involve speaking up. Anytime I get a little block in my throat there when I'm speaking and doing a tarot reading, I think that there might be something that you need to speak up on. You know, swords are that's air energy, so it's thoughts, but it is also communication. So there might be some obstacle and you just need to speak up about it. You need to address whatever it is in a verbal way. What is on your mind this week is the world card. So look at these two, the sun, the world card. The world card's also, it's just the card of perfect balance. It's the very end of a journey. It's the end of the major arcana. So the fool has gone through their journey and all the different things that they had to encounter and learn, and this is like the end of the journey, which to me an ending is new beginning. So you're looking definitely towards some sort of new beginning that you're moving forward with, and look, and it's a time to give rather than take. So it might be time for you to give back. Maybe you've been in take mode for a while, and maybe it's just the universe is giving to you, so it is time for you to give back as well. What is just ahead of you as you're moving towards this future is truth. So, in some way, it looks like that's maybe what your quest is about. You will find happiness in knowing the truth about something. And again, maybe it is about speaking up about something or asking a question to at least get to that destination, that you're trying to get to of truth. Maybe something that you need to have a conversation with someone to uncover some sort of truth. But it's like you're ready to take the bull by the horns and move towards your future in the light of truth. So maybe you've been living in a I don't want to say in a lie, but maybe just in kind of a false truth, and something's coming to you where you're realizing, hey, things aren't the way I thought they were, and I would like to really just live in actual truth, right? So think about that this week. In your advice position is the 6 of Wands here. So you're going to be celebrated for this. You're going to have people around you that see what you're doing, that see that you're trying to get to the bottom of things, to get to the truth. And I think people are really going to be excuse me, again, speak up, celebrating that with you. And and giving you kind of a pat on the back. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some friends, family, someone around who's like, even if it's just one or two people who are like, we see what you're doing and we really we love what you're doing. You're definitely on the right path, the way some other people see it too. So what is beyond your control this week is the 10 of Pentacles. So beyond your control is moving towards this, which is kind of that wealth and security. This is not only your wealth and security, but for generations to come. So you're building something. You're building a really good, solid foundation. Whether it be, not only financial is that, but also this truth that you're going to live in this light of truth. You're going to make some sort of change, some sort of adjustment in your life that makes your life more so authentic, I think is the word I'm looking for. So seeking that truth, that authenticity, so that that the things that you're doing are based in truth and based in your truth. What is your secret desire and what are you trying to avoid is the 2 of Cups. So it is either your secret desire to come together with someone in some sort of open partnership, open friendship, or you're trying to avoid that. So that'll be a question that you have to ask yourself this week. Is that some sort of truth seeking? Is this a person that's maybe in this congratulatory place, or is this person that you're seeking truth with? This could be anything from a relationship, a partnership, to a friendship, to some sort of ally that you have in your life, when it comes to a work person, a family person. So you need to ask yourself, is it your secret desire to come together and be open with this person, open-minded, open-hearted, to be able to have truth and conversation, or are you trying to avoid that? And you need to, there's no right or wrong with that at this time for you. It's a matter of you choosing that for yourself. And again, like different Libras will choose different things. Some people will want that open conversation. Some will not at this time. It'll probably come up again. But that's your big question: are you secretly desiring that, or are you trying to avoid that? And your outcome position is, oh look, well, with endings again come new beginnings. So you're moving towards a future and living in more truth than you have been, whatever that is for you. This could have been any situation in your life, really, and it'll be different. I'm so sorry. Grab another drink. Again, speak up. So, um, where was I? Yeah, you're heading towards this new journey. Everything in your card says that you're at the end. You've reached the end of something. And this is just your obstacle. There's some obstacle here for you. And what is that? There's some obstacle to truth. And I think once you find that and once you speak up about it, since that's come up a couple of times in this reading, that you're going to need to speak up about it, speak your truth. You'll be congratulated for it. You're moving towards longer, like a longevity of wealth and security, not only in monetary things, but just in the terms of values. That the type of person you are is that you really do want to live in that truth. What is hidden from you this week, Libra, is the High Priestess. So, you know, I would say that hidden from you is really going to be, I think things are going to be so blatantly obvious that the universe doesn't need to point you towards intuitive thought or synchronicities. It's just, this is going to be a very, very cut and dried situation. Like, it's so logical that you shouldn't miss it. We shouldn't be able to miss it because it's so logical and so just there right in your face. So hidden from you is any sort of inner knowing, or I don't think you'll have dreams about this situation, almost like it's just so logical that you know what you have to do. It's just a matter of taking that big deep breath and doing it and speaking up and saying what's on your mind. So again, a time to give rather than take. And sometimes that's going to also just be giving of the truth, right? And living in that truth. Okay, we've got a card here that wants to come out. So Soul Oracle deck says for Libra, count your blessings. That's never bad advice, right? Count your blessings. Again, it's time to give, a time to give rather than take. So, and if you need to give of those blessings, whatever they may be for you, to the people around you, just make sure you are doing that this week. Let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. Self-care for Libra this week. And the card that you get is optimism. If you're going to make up stories in your head about people and circumstances, please make them love stories with happy endings. So, optimism. Let's be optimistic. Let's not be pessimistic. But I do think work on this obstacle to get to the truth. I think that's what you want to do. And I think that's what you will do, whatever that is for you, Libra. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below. Let me know, was there something that you had to work out this week that was some obstacle to truth, that's kind of not, it's kind of, like I said, it's not blocking your future, but it's just kind of, it comes up like you're moving towards things that you want to do, and there's just this obstacle, and you're going to have to speak up and deal with it. So again, drop me a comment down below if this reading meant anything to you in that manner. If there's anything that you could relate to, or if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer those questions for you. Also, if you like my reading style, please hit that like and subscribe button. Not only does it help my channel, Libra, but it will help you find me next week, where you can come back and we can see what new journey you happen to be on and where the story goes. So thank you so much for being here again, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.